So guys, over the last couple of days, it has been an absolute whirlwind online about speculation and rumors about what's happening with Destiny 2, Bungie, with the latest amount of layoffs and all that stuff. And today, Jason Schreier, who is a credible journalist about this stuff, has dropped an article giving us a little bit of a glimpse behind the curtain at what is actually going on. Just want to say none of this is actually officially confirmed by Bungie, but it does shine some light on the current situation, which is really good. So today I'm going to break down this article, go over some of the main points so that you guys are as informed as possible. But before we jump into all of it, as always, if you're going to enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, as it's free to do and really does help me out here a ton, and a lot of you who watch aren't actually subscribed. So if you could do that, I would very much appreciate it. And with that all being said, let's jump into today's video. So he goes on to state that to learn more about what happened and what comes next, he spoke to 10 current and former Bungie employees who asked not to be identified because they aren't authorized to speak to press, and they described a company that grew too fast and tried to develop too many projects at once, spreading resources too thin rather than prioritizing its chief moneymaker, Destiny 2. For those of you who don't know, Bungie is making Destiny 2, which is their main source of money, but they're also making Marathon, which is set to release, I believe, 2025, and they were also making a handful of other projects, with Destiny 2 being their only source of money, and Destiny 2 hasn't really been doing all that great recently, so it's not making as much money, meaning that those other projects aren't being made. I believe Marathon is still set to come out in 2025, but that's the only one I believe that's actually coming out anytime soon. I believe the other ones have been cancelled, or one is being shipped over to Sony with a different studio. He then goes on to state that most people were critical of Chief Executive Officer Pete Parsons, saying he had failed to take accountability for his own bad bets, and that he'd been overly optimistic in his communications with the staff. Some said Parsons and other company leaders spoke of Bungie magic, a confident mantra similar to ones preached by other elite video game studios, that they can make anything work. The next major thing here is that he then goes on to talk about Project Payback. So, one of Bungie's big bets was Payback, an incubation project set in the Destiny universe that would shake up the formula in major ways. According to people familiar, it would pivot from a first-person and third-person perspective and allow players to use the franchise's characters to explore a large world while cooperating to battle monsters and solve puzzles. Pitch took elements from popular games such as Warframe and Genshin Impact. Although several internet rumors over the last few years have suggested that Payback would be a sequel to Destiny 2, it was a significant departure from the previous two games, according to people familiar, and would have been perceived more as a spin-off game. 2 months ago, Bungie cancelled Payback to prioritize games that were more imminent, moving the bulk of its team to Marathon, which is targeted release in 2025. The company also plans to continue updating Destiny 2, although it will no longer pursue regular paid expansions as it did in the past. According to people familiar, during one recent meeting, a company leader told attendants that sales of each expansion had declined year over year, including the final shape, so they would be moving away from annual release model. Some staff said that they're optimistic about the vision for Destiny 2 under new director Tyson Green, a Bungie veteran who took the helm earlier this year. In the coming months, people said Bungie will look to retain and attract players with small-scale content drops modeled after Into the Light, a well-received update in April that added a new mode to the game. Rather than selling this content, they said Bungie will aim to release it for free, along with overhauls to activities that it hopes will appeal to hardcore players. Other vague plans for the future include a storyline that will feature characters and worlds that Destiny has not yet explored. Fans have wondered if Bungie might one day start anew with Destiny 3, but such a project has not been in development. According to people familiar, Bungie is instead looking to create a smoother onboarding process for Destiny 2, such as a rebranding to attract new players who might be turned off by a game that can now feel impenetrable to those unfamiliar with it. This makes a lot of sense to me. Having to make a Destiny 3 would mean that they would need to stop work on Destiny 2, and then it would probably take them about, I'm going to say 5 or 6 years to get Destiny 3 off and running. I don't know how releasing 3 smaller updates is going to make them money. Probably going to all be relying on the Eververse store for that one. But Into the Light was a really good update. Brought grind and excitement back to the game, but I feel like that was mainly because people were drawn to Into the Light because it was the last thing before the final shape, which was the main content drop following Into the Light. Into the Light didn't include any major story stuff, it was mainly just content and activities, although he did state that the future will include a storyline, so that at least has some kind of story implication to it. That will feature characters and worlds that Destiny has not yet explored. That has me interested for things like Fundament, maybe the Cabal home planet. All that stuff would be very cool to explore. Some of the rumors going about the last couple of days were saying that Destiny might be removing all of its story content for good and just releasing these smaller updates with just additional gameplay elements added to the game. So it's good to see that that isn't true, but obviously we don't know if any of this is really 100% true. Some stuff obviously could be changed. Yeah, other major stuff is that long-term veteran Luke Smith and Narc from Noseworthy exited this week, according to people familiar, alongside other top leaders, leaving lingering questions about the future of decision-making at Bungie. Not a very good situation, although this does shed a bit of light into the future of Destiny, which doesn't look too bad. I was scared when I heard about Bungie moving to smaller content packs and what the pricing for those would be like, but if they're free, I mean, that's good for the player. Don't know how it's going to be good for Bungie and how they're going to make money off of that, like I said, but we're just going to have to wait and see. And that's pretty much it regarding Jason Schreier's article. As always, there'll be a link in the description if you want to read it for yourself. There's a lot of interesting information in this one, so definitely worth giving it a read. But yeah, hopefully Bungie comes up with a statement themselves sometime soon. But that is everything here today. So as always, if you've enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. That's it from me here today. So I'll catch you guys in the next one.